Now, this is really important because what we're saying here is that people who eat more ultra-processed foods are at a higher rate of having depression. It doesn't mean that everybody with depression has depression because of the food that they ate, but it does mean that we need to pay attention to these links because, as we'll discuss in just a moment, ultra-processed foods can compromise brain pathways that are linked to worse mental health. So as we're talking about how ultra-processed foods actually influence the brain, one of the most important pathways involved relates to brain metabolism. Your brain only weighs about 2 to 3 pounds, but it uses up around 20% of the energy in your body, primarily in the form of glucose. And a ton of research over the last decades has shown that there are correlations between impairment in your brain energy access and risk for developing cognitive decline, as well as dementia. This helps to explain why people with poorly controlled diabetes are at a higher risk for developing dementia. Eating ultra-processed foods appears to directly influence and increases risk for the development of type 2 diabetes and the metabolic dysfunction that comes along with type 2 diabetes. In research that was just published 2024 in The Lancet, they found that those people who ate more ultra-processed foods were at a 50% higher risk for developing diabetes, and for every 10% increase in ultra-processed foods they consumed, their risk of developing diabetes went up by 12% in a linear fashion. Important additional data, this is animal data from 2024, which was published in Molecular Metabolism, shows that an ultra-processed food diet led to changes in brain metabolism. And so all of this put together suggests that consumption of ultra-processed foods can lead to worse brain health by damaging overall metabolic health and damaging brain metabolic health. Let's now talk about how ultra-processed foods can damage the gut-brain connection, and in doing so can lead to brain inflammation, both of which can be poor for our overall brain health. Chronic inflammation in the body is a top driver of death and disability around the world. This is because conditions associated with chronic inflammation range from diabetes to cardiovascular disease, cancer, obesity, and so many more health conditions. As it relates to the brain, chronic inflammation is believed to contribute to dementia, mood disorders, neurodevelopmental disorders, and premature aging of the brain, along with conditions like stroke. As we think about how chronic inflammation develops in the brain and in the body, one of the key pathways to understand is the gut-brain axis, the idea that the gut communicates with the brain and the brain communicates with the gut. The gut is so important to this story because it is the principal location where our immune system is exposed to microbes and to the outside world.